Unimaginable. Cardi B collapses after doctors drop devastating news about newborn son with Stefon Diggs. The entire world stood still the moment the unimaginable happened. What was supposed to be the happiest chapter of Cardi B and Stefon Diggs' love story suddenly turned into a living nightmare, one so painful, so shocking, that even the strongest hearts could barely handle the truth. Inside the sterile white halls of the private New York medical facility, a haunting silence filled the air. Nurses walked with urgency. Doctors whispered in corners. Machines beeped softly in the background. The joy that once filled the maternity wing had now been replaced by tension, dread, and unbearable fear. Cardi B sat beside the incubator, staring at her tiny newborn son, her miracle baby, the child she had prayed for, cried for, and dreamed of holding for so long. Her hand trembled as she gently touched the glass, whispering softly. "Mama here, baby. Mommy got you." Stefon Diggs stood next to her, his face pale, his eyes bloodshot from hours of sleeplessness and silent prayers. Everyone could feel that something was terribly wrong, but nothing could prepare them for what was about to happen next. "Broken heart," the words that shattered everything. The specialist finally stepped in. His expression said it all. "Ms. Almanzar. Mr. Diggs, we need to talk." The room froze. Cardi's heart dropped instantly. Her legs weakened as though the ground beneath her had vanished. Stefon grabbed her arm gently, bracing her as the doctor continued. "There has been a serious complication with your son's condition. We've run extensive tests and scans over the last 24 hours. The pause felt like eternity. We've discovered a rare and life-threatening condition affecting his vital functions. His little body is struggling to stabilize. Right now, his condition is critical." Those words echoed through the room like a thunderstrike. Loudly crying face Cardi B collapses. In one heartbreaking moment, Cardi clutched her chest, gasping for breath. "No. No. That's my baby. You saying my baby dying?" Her knees gave in as she collapsed to the cold hospital floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Nurses rushed to her side, trying to keep her calm, but her scream pierced the hallway like a cry of agony no mother should ever have to make. Stefon Diggs dropped to his knees beside her, holding her tightly. "You don't understand, Doc, she been through too much. That baby is our miracle," he whispered, his own tears falling freely. Hospital doctors revealed the devastating truth. The medical team explained that their newborn son had been born with a condition that affected his ability to regulate oxygen and neurological development. His tiny lungs and nervous system were failing to respond the way they should. "He is fighting. But this will not be easy," the doctor admitted gravely. "The next 72 hours are critical. We cannot promise outcomes." Cardi screamed again, her voice breaking into painful sobs. "I just carried him for 9 months. I sang to him. I promised him life." Her words shattered everyone in the room. Baby, a mother's broken spirit. Cardi refused to leave the incubator. She held her son's tiny fingers through the small opening, tears streaming down her face as she whispered. "Mommy, sorry, baby. Mommy right here. You gotta fight. You gotta be strong." Stefon stood silently, staring at his son like a man losing his world. The confident NFL star, known for his strength, was now just a broken father pleading with God. Tornado chaos outside the hospital. News of the emergency spread like wildfire. Fans gathered outside the hospital gates, holding candles, praying, crying, chanting the baby's name. Social media exploded with hashtags. Hashtag pray for Cardi son. Hashtag stay strong Cardi. Hashtag Diggs family. Celebrities sent messages of support, but inside those walls, none of it mattered. All Cardi could see was her fragile baby. Struggling to breathe. Broken heart, a night of tears and prayer. As night fell, machines hummed louder. Cardi refused to sleep, whispering lullabies through her tears. Stefan placed his hand on her shoulder and murmured. "We gonna get through this. Our son is strong. He got your heart." But deep down, even he was afraid. The doctor returned hours later with another update, and the tension skyrocketed. "His oxygen levels are fluctuating. We're doing everything humanly possible." Cardi sobbed harder. "I just want my baby to live. Please God, don't take my son." Crying face, a family on the edge. Family members arrived quietly, their faces filled with shock and sorrow. The once glorious newborn celebration had transformed into a silent vigil. Cardi whispered to Stefan. "What if you don't make it?" Stefan closed his eyes, voice barely audible. "Then the world just lost a little angel, but I still believe in miracles." Of the most painful waiting game. Hours felt like days. Every beep, every movement from the machine made Cardi flinch. She would jump at every tiny sound, hoping it meant improvement. Yet fear never left her eyes. She stared at her baby, struggling, helpless, fragile, and her heart broke a little more every second. Cloud with rain, a story that leaves the world breathless. As the sun rose, doctors prepared for emergency intervention. The hospital prepared for the worst, yet prayed for the best. And there, holding her newborn son's hand, Cardi whispered words no mother should ever have to say. "Mommy loves you forever, please don't leave me." To be continued. Will the miracle baby pull through? Will Cardi's faith survive the storm? Will Stefan Diggs watch his son rise, or fall? The world waits, hearts shattered, souls trembling, praying for a miracle that might just change everything. Unimaginable. Cardi B collapses after doctors drop devastating news about newborn son W. Diggs. A fictional, dramatic entertainment story. Hospital, a night that changed everything. The hospital hallway was unusually silent, the kind of silence that makes every heartbeat feel louder, every breath heavier. Outside the neonatal intensive care unit, Stefan Diggs paced back and forth, hands trembling, his eyes glued to the double doors that separated him from the woman he loved and the tiny life they had brought into the world together. Inside, Cardi B sat motionless on the edge of the hospital bed, her fingers clutching the soft blue blanket that had wrapped their newborn son just hours earlier. The baby who was supposed to bring nothing but joy. The baby whose first cry had filled the room with tears of happiness. Now, that joy was being replaced by a terrifying uncertainty. Broken heart, the condition is critical. When the team of specialists finally entered, their expressions said everything before a single word was spoken. Cardi, the lead doctor, began gently, his voice steady but painfully careful. "Your son is experiencing a rare and severe complication. His vital organs are struggling to respond the way we expected. We're doing everything possible, but the situation is critical." The world froze. Cardi blinked, trying to process the words, her mind desperately searching for something hopeful inside them. "Wait, what you mean critical? He just got here, he just came," her voice cracked, the familiar fire replaced by raw, helpless fear. Stefan rushed to her side as the doctor continued explaining medical terms, treatment options, and emergency procedures, words that blurred into an unbearable echo. Then it hit her. Her legs softened. Her hands slipped. Her body gave in. Cardi B collapsed. Nurses rushed forward as Stefan caught her just in time, his own face pale with shock and panic. "Not like this, not my baby, please God, not my baby," she whispered through uncontrollable sobs. Crying face, Stefan Diggs breaks down. For the first time in front of everyone, Stefan Diggs broke. The strong, composed athlete who always seemed unshakable was now reduced to tears, holding Cardi's shaking body while whispering prayers he didn't even know he remembered. "I'll trade anything, any touchdown, any deal, just let my son live," he murmured, his voice barely holding together. As doctors rushed to stabilize the infant, the atmosphere turned painfully tense. Machines beeped rhythmically, monitors flashing numbers that determined the difference between hope and heartbreak. Baby, a fragile fight for life. Inside the NICU, the newborn lay surrounded by wires and soft humming machines, his tiny chest rising and falling with effort. Every breath he took felt like a victory, and every pause felt like an eternity. Cardi, now seated again, stared through the glass window with bloodshot eyes, her makeup long forgotten, her heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. "I can't lose my baby," she whispered. "I already love him more than life." Stefan squeezed her hand tightly. "We gonna fight with him. He's a fighter. He got our blood." Globe showing Europe Africa fans react, panic, prayer and shock. As rumors leaked online, the internet went into meltdown. Hashtags like #pray for Cardi baby. #stay strong Cardi. #digs family strong. Trended worldwide within minutes. Fans posted emotional messages, virtual prayers, and heartfelt support. "This is heartbreaking. No parent deserves this pain. Please God protect that baby. Strength and love to Cardi and Stefan. We're with you." Even celebrities sent messages of solidarity, reminding the world that beyond fame and fortune, they were just parents terrified of losing their child. Milky Way, a mother's promise. Late that night, Cardi finally stood beside the incubator, her hand gently touching the glass. Tears fell quietly down her cheeks as she spoke softly to her son. "Mommy here, baby. You gotta stay. You gotta be strong. You hear me? You already a king. You ain't going nowhere." Stefan stood behind her in silence, wrapping his arms around her as they both watched the tiny boy fight a battle no newborn should ever have to face. Hourglass not done. The longest hours. Every hour felt like a lifetime. Doctors went in and out. Nurses adjusted machines. Hope and fear danced in cruel circles. Would he survive the night? Would their miracle become their tragedy? Would this unimaginable nightmare finally turn into a miracle? For now, the only thing they could do was wait. Red Heart, a story of love, fear and unbreakable hope. What began as the happiest moment of their lives had spiraled into the most terrifying chapter imaginable. But in the middle of fear and uncertainty, one thing remained unshaken, the fierce love of two parents refusing to give up on their child. And as the machines continued their steady rhythm, as prayers echoed across the world, one truth remained clear. This baby was not just fighting for his life. He was fighting for the love of two hearts that refused to let go.
도시가 보이곤 해. 그 도시에는 또 다른 내가 하늘에 떠가는 비행기를 올려다보고 있겠지. 쳐다보고 있겠지. 묘한 짜릿함 그 속에 머물다 보면 어느새 제주도